Jacqueline, and I am back answering another question about habits and consistency and making this year better, making this year something that you're actually enjoying and helping you be the person that you want to be. So I guess that's the big thing. It's about who you're being, not just about the year, but like who are you being? Do you like that person? Is that the person you want to be? So let's get to today's question, which is how to not let yourself get in the way. I love this question or this thing because, yeah, a lot of times we realize, all of these external things happened. They're opportunities to mess up, but we are the ones that decide or lead us to messing up or getting in our way. We are the ones we self sabotage. It's our thinking and our actions that get in the way. So what I did was I broke this up into a before, during, and after. I'm going to go through each part and teach it in general. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through an example. And I'd like for you to do this as well. I'd like for you to follow along, pick that aspirational identity that you want for yourself, and like go through these things and actually like map this out. You can figure out how to change your life if you use these steps. Okay, so let's start. How to not let yourself get in the way. We got to start with before. You need to identify that aspirational identity, that person that you want to be. The next thing is you need a simple system with written steps. Simple. Simple is in big letters. It needs to be simple. You need to make things so simple that you can do it while you're at home during a pandemic. You need to make it so simple that it's something you can do when you're on a 30-day road trip. So simple that you can do when your in-laws come to visit. You want simple things that you can actually follow through with, even when life is imperfect. Because hello, if this past week has taught us anything, just because it's a new year, it doesn't mean that life just magically settles down and it's perfect and it's rainbows and butterflies. When the pandemic is over, it doesn't mean that everything goes back to being rainbows and butterflies, because guess what? It wasn't rainbows and butterflies before the pandemic. So anyways, we need simple systems, and they need to be written. You need to have written steps of what you're going to do. There's a lot when you're starting something new. There's a lot that goes into it. So you want it written so you can refer back to it. Before, so this is beforehand also, you need to anticipate your self-sabotage patterns. You know yourself best. You have been in your body, you have been in your head for several decades. You know yourself best. What are those things that you always mess up on? You get to a certain point and you mess up. You get to this point where, things are feeling pretty good and you're waiting for the other shoe to drop and it does and you mess up. What are those things? And not even just what's the event, but what is the thing you say to yourself? I talk to a lot of people and they'll say like things are too good to be true. I know something's going to mess this up. It's even just that thinking, those words, those thoughts, that when something goes off a little bit, it's like, you're like, see, I knew it. I'm going to fall apart. So what is the thing? Anticipate your self-sabotage pattern. What are the words that you say to yourself that get you off track? And then also have a go-to thing to say. So you need to know what you say, and then when you say the thing, what's the thing that you can say that gets you out of that thinking pattern? Okay? So these are things that like you have to do to prep beforehand. If you think that you are going to become a different person, Nikes, just do it. You think that you are just going to magically become this different person without having a plan in place. It's not going to work. You've tried it. It just hasn't worked. We got to dig a little bit deeper. We have to do some prep work in order to make this actually possible for you. Okay. So now let's talk about during. During, you're going to track your reps. You're going to use a 365 habit tracker. You're also going to use an evidence journal to collect anecdotal data. You're going to look for evidence that you're being this person. You are following through with the things that you said you wanted to do. This is really important to build evidence because you have decades of evidence of how much you suck in your head. You're like, I suck. I don't think you suck. I think you're wonderful. But you have all of this like, oh my gosh, I suck so much. We need to start collecting evidence of like, actually, you're pretty cool. Actually, you're pretty awesome. Actually, you are doing these things. Actually, you're showing up for yourself. So we need to start collecting evidence and writing it down makes it concrete. It stops being abstract. It's like, oh, look, I have this book of evidence of like me following through and being the person that I wanted to say. Okay. So we talked about before, during, and after. After is also really important. You need to praise the behavior the behavior change with words. So not with a credit card, not with food, not with prizes. You need to use words to praise the behavior change. Praise the thing that you've just done, because doing the thing means that you are being that person that you want to be. And then the last thing is, when you do mess up, you didn't do this part, make it a lesson, make it a teachable moment. Stop using that, the no drama. Stop using that as reasons, like evidence of like how much you suck, and start being like, oh shoot, what happened here? Okay, that's what happened. Hey, I'm an imperfect human. I'm okay. I'm not going to add drama to this. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through these steps with an example. So let's pretend that your aspirational identity is healthy, imperfect eater. So you actually need to write this down. The system. Okay, step 1, you're going to set an alert to take time to eat. I find that a lot of people actually struggle with overeating later in the day. Or on weekends, because they have been under eating, because they have not taken the time, they have not set boundaries in their day to actually sit down and eat a meal. They're so overwhelmed with work or with their kids or with whatever. They haven't actually taken time to eat during their day, so now they're overeating later. So step 1, in order to become a healthy and perfect eater is set an alarm to actually eat. So I'm gonna eat breakfast, I'm gonna eat lunch, I'm gonna eat dinner. I'm gonna actually set those times in my day. 2, I'm going to build meals with the 5 Ps. Great. I'm going to sit down for breakfast. I'm going to make sure that there's some plants and protein with that. I'm going to make sure. I'm going to sit down for lunch. I'm going to, go through and make sure that I have those pieces there. I'm not standing in front of the fridge while I'm eating. I'm not eating on the go. I'm actually sitting down and giving myself 15 minutes in my day to eat a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. Step 3, maybe it's, I can have restaurants once a week. I'm going to follow through with these things, but we're only going to eat out once a week, something like that. Okay. So that we went through aspirational identity, this system. Anticipate your self-sabotage pattern. So old self always says something like, you don't really have to follow that thing. You're not really the type of person who eats healthy consistently. It's okay. Just eat the entire pizza. It's not that big of a deal. You're, balanced. You're allowed to eat an entire pizza. So you listen to old self, and then shoot, eating an entire pizza doesn't feel so great. Old self is going to tell me it's okay to eat this, but new self is going to be like, actually, I'm working on being a healthy, imperfect eater. I am allowed to have pizza, but no, it doesn't feel good eating an entire pizza. So when old self tells me eat the entire pizza, I'm going to remind old self, actually, I'm just going to eat some of the pizza without eating all of it. I'm going to have some salad with it. Okay, cool. So we just went through that. Let's see. Next piece, track your habits with the 365 habit tracker. There's a couple different options, actually track it. Great. I said I was going to sit down to eat lunch. Color it in. I ate lunch. Maybe you'll have another one that's for dinner. Great. I did it. And another one that's for breakfast or for snacks, whatever. Actually track that progress. And you're like, okay, great. I have all of this evidence here. I can see, I can look. I have stopped to take time to eat lunch this many days. Also, start creating an evidence journal. Okay, great. Fridays, I usually eat an entire pizza, but look, yesterday I ate the 5 Ps on Friday with the pizza. These are things that I actually write to myself when it comes to anything new that I'm trying to incorporate into my life, because when you're trying to take on a new habit, it's not just about the habit, it's about being someone different, right? So if you're trying to become an imperfect healthy eater, you eat 5 Ps, you rock, it's pretty cool you're doing this. I'm proud of you for taking care of yourself and being a healthy and perfect eater. We're praising the behavior change with words. We're not praising, great, you ate salad with your pizza with, okay, now you can go buy some shoes to reward yourself. No, we're praising with words, okay? So we talked about before, we talked about during, now let's talk about after. And after, let's pretend that you did mess up on Friday night. Your old self, that self-talk popped up and it was like, that's okay, just eat the entire pizza. You don't have to eat salad. So, okay, cool. You listen to that voice, you listen to those thoughts, and you ate the entire pizza. This is your opportunity um, to make yourself feel bad about yourself or make it a teachable moment. Make it a lesson. Write out like, okay, I ate an entire pizza and now my stomach hurts. Okay, cool. What did I learn from this? Ah, yes. When I hear myself say, you don't have to make a salad, I got to remember that that thought keeps me stuck. When I say, you don't really have to do this thing, I know you said you were going to do it, but you don't really have to. Following through with that keeps me stuck. When I hear myself say that, I need to remember my go-to plan, and I'm just going to make the salad. I'm going to make the salad, and I'm going to feel good. I get to be that person that I want to be. So those are the suggestions. How to not let yourself get in the way. Yes, you are the one that those thoughts in your head and the actions that you take based on your thoughts are the things that get in your way. So if we can start to isolate what are those thoughts and make sure that we have a go-to, we have an action plan for when those thoughts come up, and also not think that there's something wrong with you because you have those old self or those self-sabotage patterns. There's nothing wrong with you. That's literally everyone. Everyone has these things. I have these things. When I'm making a change in my life, my anxiety will pop up and, are you sure you want to do that? Oh, people might judge you. Ooh, I don't know if you should do that. And I listen to those thoughts and then I don't follow through with the thing. If I think those thoughts like, hey, thanks for trying to keep me the same, but actually I'm going to follow through with the plan. I'm going to follow through with being that aspirational identity today, color in my Habit 365 tracker, move on with my life and feel good. So those are my suggestions. Action item for you. Let me know in the comments. You can send me an email at Coach Jacqueline at JacquelineRucchio.com and let me know what were your takeaways. What are you learning from this? What are you going to start implementing? What did I say that was like a little bit different, or maybe it was the 7th million time that you heard someone say this thing and I just said it in the right way where it clicked with you. It's like an aha moment. It's like you've heard it a million different times, or you just heard it, or it was applicable during that time that you're like, okay, cool, now I get it, and I'm going to do this to change how things are going. Let me know in the comments or send me an email. Take care. Can't wait to hear from you.